Hello. Um, Today I thought I'd just talk about remakes, reboots, and sequels that seem to take place like a decade or so away after the original movie or the last sequel came out. It seems to be very common anymore, and there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of original things coming out of like Hollywood. It's like all the great ideas have already been done. Even books, it could be original to adapt a book that's never been done before. Or perhaps one was done before, but it just was not done very well, so perhaps another attempt at said movie could be done, but nope. Let's not do that. Let's just do movies again, like remake them or reboot them. Reboots, obviously, it's quite common anymore. Sorry. Screen kind of froze on me. I don't know if it did that on your end, but it did for me. But it seems to be happening more and more, and it's like you have no original ideas. Of all of your writers, not like one of them has a huge original idea. I mean, now there are original movies, and yet either these movies are very bad or very good, and so good that they're very underrated and people don't really see them, or if they do, they get overlooked because perhaps something else comes out around the same time, or something has people's attention that takes it away from said original movie. Batman vs. Superman is a reboot for Batman. Christian Bale obviously is no longer Batman. Even though the film was executive produced by Christopher Nolan, I don't think he actually had a whole lot to do with the film at all. I don't think he really had a lot to do with Man of Steel either. I know he helped write the story, but in terms of producing, he may have been there here and there, but he was really probably getting ready to make Interstellar, write the script, and just get prepared for that movie. But yeah, it's as much of a connection as you could ever get to the Dark Knight trilogy and the Marvel cinematic or DC cinematic universe. Now that's what they're trying to do. Now, like a Batman, for instance, a reboot was necessary for Batman because Batman and Robin was just like people don't like to talk about that, and for good reason. It was not a good movie. But okay, reboot, yes. Superman Returns. It wasn't a terrible movie. If anything that was wrong with Superman Returns, I feel it was the writing. The script wasn't that strong, and therefore it was very obvious, and people weren't, very loving of that movie. People didn't like that movie as much. I thought Brandon Routh did a good job with what he had to work with in terms of scripting. It really wasn't all that bad, but you know, a sequel to Superman Returns was supposed to happen, but obviously that never happened. Um, um, Top Gun 2 will for a sequel to come out decades after, for instance. I know I'm kind of jumping back and forth, but with this, or I'm going to, but basically it's kind of like this: why Hollywood? Why do this? Um, Obviously for money, but still, Superman Returns. They did that really because, well, Batman Begins worked well. I mean, people say that movie didn't make a profit, and that movie made a profit. I think it's because they're looking at it in terms of the Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, which made over $1 billion worldwide, and I'm just like, the movie made millions of dollars. It made a profit. People saw it. People, I'm sure, were hesitant at first because of the last Batman movie. Can't blame people for being hesitant, but it made a profit. People keep saying it didn't. I'm gonna look up how much Batman Begins made. Come on, Okay. Batman Begins. Okay, the movie, the budget was $150 million, and the film made $374.2 million worldwide. It made well more than its budget, which really, when you make more than your budget, usually that's a success, financially at least. I think people say that didn't make a lot of money because Dark Knight Rises were more successful. Like, yeah, but by that time, people were more into Batman now. And the thing with Superman Returns is they saw what Batman was successful, so let's do the same thing with Superman. And the end result was a decent movie with a weak script. If the script was better, the film probably would have been liked a lot more. But, that happens sometimes. But yeah, Top Gun 2. Okay, on the Top Gun 2. That movie, I want to say I'm not a huge fan of the original Top Gun. Just because, I don't know, I was just not my kind of movie. I know some people love it. That's fine. But yeah, they're making a sequel to it. Tony Scott obviously can't be involved because he is no longer living. But apparently Tom Cruise, from everything I've heard about it, seems to be ongoing. Tom Cruise is going to be in it. And he basically is for it. I don't exactly know what they're going to do next. You're going to train new people, new pilots. I don't know. Ghostbusters was supposed to be Ghostbusters 3, but now it's just a remake. They say reboot, but you look at the trailer, you look at the very brief information, you can basically tell the movie is a remake, and it doesn't look good. The jokes are bad. The CGI is terrible. I just don't see how it looks good. I won't see it in the theater because it doesn't look good. And trailers are supposed to entice you to make you want to go and see a movie. And this does not. It makes me want to stay as far away from the film as possible. So that's what I will do. Maybe if it's on TV, I will watch it. But otherwise, I don't think so. Unless somebody gets the DVD or Blu-ray and lets me borrow it, then I'll watch it. But I just don't have an interest in it. Also, it's not because of the female cast. I know a lot of people say that's why people don't like it. It's because of the female cast. And I know plenty of women who have seen the trailer and say they will not watch the movie in the theater at all. Same as me, because it just looks terrible. I will say I'm not a fan of the actresses who will be in Ghostbusters, but that's just a personal thing. I don't really like their body of work overall. I like St. Vincent. I thought that was a good film that Melissa McCarthy was in, which also had Bill Murray. And the living cast members of Ghostbusters minus Rick Moranis, who turned it down because he didn't see any point at all in doing something he did 30 years ago. They're going to be having cameos and not as their characters from the previous Ghostbusters. So, I know Bill Murray said he wouldn't do Ghostbusters 3, but from the way I've heard everything and read things about it, basically the reason why was because he did not at all want to do it for money, because that's what he did Ghostbusters 2 for, and he said that was just a complete disappointment, and he did not want a repeat of that. And I can understand where if you do something for the money and it doesn't turn out as great as you hoped, why would you want to do another film? Why would you want to do a sequel to that? Personally, I thought Ghostbusters 2 was good. Obviously, it is not as great as the first one, but the first one was a huge, it raised the bar so high on any potential sequel. But Bill Murray didn't want to do the third one because he was afraid that it was going to be the exact same thing all over again. At the end of it all, do it only for the money. That's it. No, not because the script is good, but because pay me a huge paycheck to do this again. And he did say, though, if the script was good, he would be open to doing Ghostbusters 3. So it wasn't a complete definitive no on his part. He just didn't want to do a repeat of Ghostbusters 2 in terms of the reasons as to why he did it, which was for money. I can see where he's coming from in that regard. And horror movies have a whole bunch of sequels and remakes and reboots. I thought Friday the 13th was a good reboot. I thought of all the remakes and reboots of horror franchises, Friday the 13th was really good. It had elements from the first 4 movies. I say 4 because the 4th film, Jason comes in and breaks through the window and grabs somebody. But basically, it went back to the roots of what Friday the 13th was in a modern setting, and I liked that. Some people didn't, and that's okay. I wasn't a huge fan of Nightmare on Elm Street's remake because, the acting was good, but it's like they made Freddy Krueger a flat-out pedophile. In the previous movies, it was subtly hinted that he was a pedophile, aside from a child killer. which worked. They never really flat out told you that. And in this movie, it basically does that. It's like, he touched me. He didn't kill anyone. He starts killing the kids because they told their parents that he touched them, and as a result, when they became teenagers, he murdered them in their dreams, which then killed them, you know, in real life, like the original films. And again, the acting was good. Rooney Mara was she played her part well. Jackie Earle Haley was good as Freddy Krueger with what he had to do, or with what he had given to him. Though Rooney Mara said the experience with Nightmare on Elm Street made her so she didn't really want to act ever again. And I think she's a very good actress. She's a great actress. Watch The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo with Daniel Craig and her. That's an amazing movie. I know some people prefer the Swedish version, which is an amazing film as well. But, that's a remake, I feel, an American remake that was done well. It was done faithfully to the book. And there were some certain changes to be both true to the original source as well as different from the Swedish version, so that those who saw the Swedish version could like the American version for what it is. And they're rebooting that franchise as well because the Sony hack happened, and the two films, the sequels, the Girl Played with Fire and Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest were, from everything I read about the sequels, were completed, and what they were going to do was film them back to back. And they were waiting for Rooney Mara, Daniel Craig, and David Fincher to be ready for the sequels. Now, some people say, like, oh, well, Daniel Craig wanted a lot of money, and they were not going to, Sony was not at all going to do that, so he would have to be recast, or his character would be completely gone all together. Rooney Mara, however, said that she would not at all do the films without Daniel Craig, and this was when she was getting really, really huge and popular and getting more roles. So they're kind of like, we don't really want to lose her. So got to figure something out. And she was asked about it. She said there was no way they were ever going to make the movies, the sequels, without Daniel Craig. That was not an option, she said. And I kind of think it's pretty stupid. From what I have heard of what they're doing, because the fourth book is out, they're going to start with that for the beginning of the new series. And I'm just kind of like, really? Why? And it doesn't seem like they'll ever acknowledge what happened beforehand, at least not from the little I've read about it. Things could have changed it, though, but from last I heard, it's like, let's not really acknowledge what happened before. Let's just do this now. Like, focus on the now and proceed from here. And I'm just like, no. Just finish the trilogy. Himara is contracted to do the next two. Find a way for Daniel Craig to do it. He doesn't seem to want to be Bond anymore because he's like, he felt like Spectre was done too soon. And I'm somebody who actually liked Spectre. I'm not saying that was the best Bond film ever made, but I thought it was good. I thought it was well made. I liked it. But that's just my opinion. People don't like it, but I think many people are also very overly harsh with it. Um, like it's the worst Bond movie ever made, and I'm like, there's plenty of Bond movies in the past that are worse than this. And the Bond franchise had a reboot of Daniel Craig. You know, it just that's a series I can keep rebooting over and over because after a while an actor gets a little too old or doesn't want to do it anymore. Like they just tend to redo it or something. You know, all these remakes and reboots, sequels, so many years later, it's just really ridiculous and just kind of proves Hollywood doesn't have a lot of original ideas. It's pretty sad, but that's how it is now, and we don't have to like it. We don't have to go and see these movies in the theater. Like, I will not be seeing Ghostbusters in the theater because that does not look good to me. If it looks good to you, fine, go and see it. But if it doesn't, and certain movies do not look appealing to you, don't go and watch them because what's the point? If you have a feeling just based off of the trailer and anything else you'll see of the movies or of the movie, maybe movies, maybe you've seen many trailers for certain movies that just don't look good, don't go and watch them. Some people say, I have to go and see it just to make sure it's good or make sure I actually don't like it. You're basically wasting money on something you think you won't like on purpose, which doesn't make sense. Just see a movie if it looks good. If it doesn't look good, don't see it. Unless perhaps word of mouth is positive for something like Ghostbusters, then maybe you might think, I might just go and look. Take a look and see if it's good. I don't think I will. No matter how good a reception people give it, I just have no desire to see it in the theater. If we stand together about these remakes and reboots and long-awaited sequels that we find unnecessary and look unappealing, and we stay at home and don't go and watch them, then you know what? Perhaps that will be a message sent to Hollywood. Get original and creative ideas. Or at least be creative. Don't if you wanted to remake something, do it so subtly people don't realize it until they've seen it multiple times. Like, that's kind of like this movie or that movie or whatever. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on the matter. Sorry if it went everywhere. I just had a lot of things I wanted to talk about, and I just spat all out as quickly as I could. I'm sure you don't want to watch me forever. So, with all of that, I say goodbye. Thank you for watching, and peace.